vast emptiness of space stretched out before Commander Jack Wilson as he stared through the viewport of the Astral Pioneer. Their small research vessel hung motionless among the stars, its usual soft hum of systems now replaced by alarming silence and occasional sparks from damaged panels. "Status report," Jack called, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. The bridge of the scientific vessel was bathed in the red glow of emergency lighting, casting long shadows across the worried faces of his crew. "Life support at 40% and dropping," replied Mary, the ship's engineer. Her hands moved quickly over her console, trying to reroute power. "Whatever hit us knew exactly where to strike. Main engines are dead. Communications array destroyed." Jack nodded grimly. This was no accident. The attack had been swift and precise, the alien vessels appearing seemingly from nowhere, firing several targeted shots, then vanishing just as quickly. They hadn't even tried to communicate first. "Any luck identifying our attackers?" Jack asked, turning to his science officer. Bill looked up from his scanner, his face pale in the dim light. "Krell warships, sir. I got partial readings before. Our systems were damaged. Their energy signatures are unmistakable." A heavy silence fell across the bridge. Everyone knew about the Krell, an aggressive species from the outer systems who viewed most other races as inferior. Until now, they had kept to their territory, occasionally raiding border outposts but never venturing this far into Galactic Alliance space. "They left us alive," Lisa, the medical officer, said quietly. "That's strange for Krell. They don't usually take prisoners or leave survivors." Jack's jaw tightened. "They didn't leave us alive out of mercy. They damaged us just enough to ensure a slow death. Our distress beacon is destroyed. We're in an empty sector miles from any shipping lanes, and life support is failing. They've left us to die because they don't consider us worth the extra shots." The crew exchanged worried glances. Their scientific mission to study a nearby star system had brought them to this remote area, far from help. No one was expecting to hear from them for another 2 weeks. "Options?" Jack asked, refusing to give in to despair. "We could try to repair the backup communications array," Mary suggested. "It would be weak, but might reach a nearby patrol, if there are any." "Good. Start on that," Jack ordered. "Bill, help her. Lisa, we need to conserve life support. Move everyone to the central section and seal off the outer compartments." As his crew hurried to their tasks, Jack moved to the small tactical display that still functioned. The Krell attack made no sense. This sector held nothing of value, just empty space and the star they had come to study. Why would the Krell venture so far from their territory to attack a lone science vessel? Hours passed as they worked desperately to extend their survival time. The air grew noticeably thinner and the temperature dropped as power reserves dwindled. Jack ordered the crew to take rest shifts to conserve oxygen, while he remained at his post, searching for any solution that might save his people. "Commander?" Mary called, her voice showing the strain of hours of non-stop work. "The backup array is partially functional, but there's not enough power to send a signal more than a few thousand miles. It's useless unless someone happens to be right on top of us." Jack's heart sank, but he kept his expression neutral. "Good work anyway. We'll keep trying." He didn't mention that the oxygen levels had fallen to 25%. At this rate, they would all be unconscious within 10 hours and dead soon after. The Krell had been efficient in their cruelty. As night cycle came, most of the crew huddled together in the ship's mess hall, converted now to an emergency shelter to conserve the remaining heat and air. Jack made his rounds, speaking quietly with each crew member, offering what comfort he could. They were scientists, explorers, not soldiers trained to face death. Yet each one met his gaze with courage that made his chest tighten with pride. Back, on the bridge, Jack allowed himself a moment of weakness away from watching eyes. He slumped in his chair, exhaustion washing over him. The Astral Pioneer had been his first command, a peaceful scientific vessel dedicated to expanding knowledge. Now it would become their tomb, and no one would even know what had happened to them. A sudden beep from the sensor console jolted him awake. Jack rubbed his eyes, wondering if he had imagined it. The sound came again, more insistent. He pushed himself up and moved to the console, hardly daring to hope. The screen showed a faint reading. Something was approaching their position at high speed. For a moment his heart leapt. Rescue, but caution quickly tempered his optimism. It could be the Krell returning to finish what they started. Jack activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, possible contact approaching. Stay alert but quiet. The minutes stretched as the object drew closer. Their damaged sensors couldn't identify it properly, showing only a ship-sized mass moving with purpose toward their position. Jack's hand hovered over the alarm that would seal the remaining compartments, a last, futile defense. Then the comm system crackled to life with a transmission. Astral Pioneer, this is Captain Tom Reynolds of the Earth military vessel Defiant. We've detected your ship and are approaching to render assistance. Please respond if you are able. The sound of a human voice, an Earth voice, sent a wave of relief so powerful through Jack that he had to grip the console to stay upright. Defiant, this is Commander Wilson of the Astral Pioneer, he responded, his voice cracking slightly. We've sustained heavy damage from a Krell attack. Life support failing. We have 12 crew members still alive. Request immediate assistance. Hang tight, Commander, came the steady reply. We're coming alongside now. Prepare for emergency docking and evacuation. We'll have you out of there in 10 minutes. As Jack relayed the news to his crew, he saw hope return to their faces. They would survive. But as the initial relief faded, a harder question formed in his mind. What were the Krell doing this far into Alliance space? And why had they attacked a harmless science vessel? Whatever the answers, Jack knew one thing. For certain as he watched the military ship appear outside their viewport, the Krell had made a serious mistake in leaving them alive. Because humans, unlike Krell, never forgot their own. Captain Tom Reynolds stood tall on the bridge of the military vessel Defiant, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. The ship hummed with quiet efficiency around him as they approached the damaged research vessel. Magnify, Tom ordered, and the main screen showed the full extent of the damage to the Astral Pioneer. Large sections of the hull were blackened and torn open to space. The engine section had been precisely targeted, and the communications array was completely destroyed. That's no random attack or meteorite damage, said First Officer John, his voice low. Those are weapons impacts, precise ones. Tom nodded grimly. And on a clearly marked research vessel. Scan for life signs. Reading 12 survivors, sir, reported Emma from the sensor station. They've gathered in the central section. Life support is critical. Maybe 2 hours of oxygen left at most. Bring us alongside and prepare for emergency docking, Tom ordered. Medical team to the airlock, security team on standby. As the Defiant maneuvered carefully next to the damaged ship, Tom studied the attack pattern. 20 years in space had taught him to read the signs of different weapons. These marks were distinctive, Krell energy weapons. The thought chilled him. Krell ships hadn't been seen this deep in human space for years. Docking complete, Captain, John reported. Rescue. Team is entering the Astral Pioneer now. Tom turned to his communications officer. Send an encrypted message to Earth Command. Inform them we've found a research vessel attacked by what appears to be Krell forces. Survivors being retrieved. Awaiting instructions. The bridge fell silent, as everyone processed the implications. If the Krell were attacking civilian ships this far into human territory, it could mean only one thing. The fragile peace was over. 20 minutes later, the survivors from the Astral Pioneer were safely aboard the Defiant. Tom made his way to the medical bay, where Dr. Pete was examining the weakened scientists. Captain, called a man sitting on one of the beds. Despite his exhaustion, he carried himself with dignity. Commander Jack Wilson of the Astral Pioneer, I can't thank you enough for your timely arrival. Tom clasped the man's offered hand. Captain Tom Reynolds, wish we could have gotten here sooner. What happened out there, Commander? Jack's eyes darkened. We were conducting routine stellar observations when 3 ships appeared. No warning, no communication attempts. They targeted Our engines and communications first, then our life support systems. Just enough damage to ensure we'd die slowly. Then they simply left. Krell ships? Yes. We got partial readings before our systems failed. Jack's voice hardened. They didn't even consider us worth finishing off, just left us to suffocate. Tom helped Jack to his feet. We should talk privately. My office. If Dr. Pete says you're up to it. The doctor nodded. He's stable. Just keep it brief. In the captain's office, Jack sat heavily in the offered chair. Tom poured 2 cups of coffee and slid one across the desk. There's more to this than a random attack, isn't there? Tom asked. Jack took a sip of coffee, his hands still trembling slightly. 2 days before the attack, we detected unusual energy, readings from a nearby system. We changed course to investigate, purely scientific curiosity. What we found. He paused, taking a deep breath. We found a massive Krell staging area, at least 30 warships and several transport vessels. Tom felt his stomach drop. 30 ships? That's not a raiding party. That's an invasion force. Exactly. We tried to leave quietly, but they must have detected us. Jack placed a data chip on the desk. I managed to save our sensor readings before the attack. The Krell are planning something big, Captain. They're positioning for a major push into human space. Tom studied the man across from him. Why didn't you report this immediately? We were about to when they hit us. Took out communications first. Jack's eyes met Tom's. They think they left no witnesses. No one who could warn Earth. Tom picked up the data chip, turning it over in his fingers. Earth Command needs to see this. It won't matter, Jack said quietly. You know how the political system works. By the time the Galactic Alliance approves military action, the Krell will have already struck. They're counting on our bureaucracy to slow us down. The captain's communication panel beeped. Reynolds here. Sir, came John's voice. Encrypted response from Earth Command, eyes only. I'll take it here. Tom activated his private screen and read the message quickly, his expression growing darker. After switching off the screen, he looked at Jack. You're right. Command acknowledges the threat, but the Alliance Council is demanding proof of hostile intent before authorizing any military response. They estimate 3 months of debate before any action is approved. Jack slammed his fist on the desk. In 3 months, the Krell could reach Earth itself. I know. Tom's voice was quiet but firm. That's why Command has given me unofficial orders. We're to gather intelligence, track the Krell fleet movements, and take necessary precautions to protect human interests. Meaning? Meaning we're on our own, but not forbidden from acting. Tom stood up and moved to the viewport, looking out at the stars. The Defiant is a stealth-capable destroyer with advanced weapon systems. We can shadow the Krell, learn their weaknesses, and if necessary, prepare for war. Jack finished. Tom turned back to face him. I need your help. Your scientific knowledge combined with my crew's military experience, we might be able to find an advantage, something the Krell won't expect. They already don't expect much from humans, Jack said with a grim smile. They think we're weak. That's why they left us to die slowly instead of finishing the job. Then that's their first mistake, Tom replied, and we're going to make sure it's their biggest one. As Jack left to rejoin his crew, Tom studied the data chip containing evidence of the Krell fleet. Official channels would move too slowly. By the time the Alliance bureaucrats approved action, countless lives could be lost. He inserted the chip into his console and began studying the Krell ship formations. The Defiant would remain in stealth mode, gathering more intelligence while preparing for what might come next. The Krell had left humans to die in space, thinking them too weak to survive. They would soon learn that nothing was more dangerous than a human preparing for war. The medical bay of the Defiant hummed with activity as doctors treated the rescued scientists. Jack sat on the edge of his bed, watching as his crew received care. Despite their ordeal, they were alive, something the Krell hadn't planned for. Your people are recovering well, said Dr. Pete, checking Jack's vital signs. Another day or two of rest and most will be back on their feet. Jack nodded. Thank you, Doctor. But rest isn't a luxury we have right now. The ship's intercom came to life with Captain Reynolds' voice. Commander Wilson and science team leaders, please report to the tactical room immediately. In the tactical room, holographic displays showed star charts and ship movements. Captain Reynolds stood at the center table with his senior officers. Now that you're all here, Tom began, we need to combine our knowledge. My officers will explain our situation. First Officer John stepped forward. We've analyzed your data chip, Commander Wilson. The Krell fleet is larger than we initially thought, closer to 40 ships now. They're moving in formation toward these systems. He pointed to 3 star clusters near human space. Those are colony worlds, said Bill, Jack's science officer. Mostly farming and mining operations. Minimal defenses. Exactly, Tom replied. Perfect first targets. Earth Command has acknowledged the threat but can't act officially without Alliance approval. Which will take months, Jack added bitterly. Tom nodded. So we're on our own for now. Unofficial orders are to gather intelligence and take necessary action to protect human interests. Mary, the engineer from the Astral Pioneer, spoke up. What can a single ship do against 40 Krell warships? More than you might think, said Emma, the Defiant's tactical officer. This isn't just any ship. The Defiant is a stealth destroyer with experimental systems. We can shadow the Krell fleet undetected while we look for weaknesses. And that, Tom said, turning to Jack's science team, is where you come in. We need your scientific expertise combined with our military capabilities. Lisa, the medical officer, from the research vessel, looked confused. We're scientists, not soldiers. What can we possibly offer against the Krell? Knowledge, Jack replied. While we were studying that star system, we collected data on Krell ships too. Their energy signatures, shield frequencies, communication patterns. Tom smiled for the first time. Exactly. The Krell think they left no survivors, no one who could reveal what they know. That's their mistake. He pressed a button, and the hologram changed to show a detailed scan of a Krell warship. While you were recovering, we've been analyzing your data. The Krell have technological advantages. Their shields are stronger, their weapons more powerful. But they have weaknesses too. Bill leaned forward, studying the scans with new interest. Their shield harmonics. There's a pattern here. We noticed that too, Emma said. Their shields operate on a rotating frequency, highly effective against conventional weapons, but potentially vulnerable to precisely calibrated energy pulses. Bill finished, excitement growing in his voice. Jack watched as his science team began to engage, their natural curiosity awakening as they studied the Krell technology. This was what they did best, solving problems, finding patterns. There's something else you should know, Tom said, his tone growing serious. We intercepted Krell communications. Our translators are still working on it, but we've figured out enough to understand why they attacked your ship. He displayed another hologram, this one showing a biological scan of a human body next to a Krell body. The Krell don't just see us as enemies. They see us as physically inferior beings. According to their biology, humans are weak, lower bone density, less muscle mass, shorter lifespans. They think we're not worth fighting properly, Jack said, understanding dawning. That's why they left us to die slowly. It wasn't just cruelty, it was contempt. Precisely, Tom replied. The Krell believe their invasion will be easy because they've underestimated what humans are capable of. They expect minimal resistance. Mary laughed suddenly, drawing surprised looks. Sorry, she said. It's just, throughout human history, that's always been a fatal mistake. Underestimating humans. A small smile touched Tom's lips. Indeed, and we're going to use that mistake against them. He turned to his communications officer. Any response from Earth Command? Yes, sir. Official channels say we're to return to Earth immediately with the survivors. And unofficial channels? They've sent us updated star charts showing Krell movement predictions and technical specifications for a weapons modification that might be useful. They're giving us room to operate, sir. Tom nodded. Then we have work to do. He addressed both crews now standing around the tactical table. I won't order any of you to join this mission. The scientists especially. You've already been through enough. We can arrange transport back to Earth from the nearest outpost. Jack looked at his team, seeing determination replace fear in their eyes. Then he turned to Tom. With respect, Captain, we're already involved. The Krell tried to kill us because of what we saw. I think I speak for my team when I say we want to make sure that wasn't in vain. One by one, Jack's science team nodded their agreement. Besides, Bill added with a small smile, you need us, those shield harmonics? I already have 3 ideas for how to penetrate them. Mary stepped forward. And I can help modify your weapon systems to deliver the right energy pulses. If we work with your engineers, we could double your effective firepower against their shields. Tom looked at them with new respect. Then it's settled. From this moment, we're one crew with one mission, to learn everything we can about the Krell and develop countermeasures before they strike. As the meeting broke up into specialized working groups, Tom held Jack back with a hand on his shoulder. You have a good team, Commander. Scientists with the hearts of warriors. Jack shook his head. Not warriors, just humans who understand what's at stake. The Krell think strength is only physical. They've never met humans before, not really. Tom nodded slowly. Then we'll give them a proper introduction. Outside the viewport, stars gleamed cold and distant as the Defiant silently changed course, its stealth systems engaging. Soon they would shadow the Krell fleet, watching and learning, a single ship preparing for war against an enemy that had no idea what humans were truly capable of when pushed too far. The Defiant glided silently through the darkness of space, its stealth systems making it nearly invisible to sensors. For 10 days, they had shadowed the Krell fleet, maintaining a safe distance while gathering crucial intelligence. On the bridge, Captain Tom Reynolds studied the tactical display showing the enemy formation, 40 warships moving in precise patterns, escorting several larger vessels. They're confident, Tom muttered, not even bothering with scout ships. First Officer John nodded. Why would they? They don't expect anyone knows they're coming. The door to the bridge slid open as Jack entered, looking more rested than he had in days. The commander of the science vessel had adapted quickly to life aboard the military ship. Captain, we've made a breakthrough. You'll want to see this. Tom followed Jack to the ship's lab, which had been transformed in recent days. The scientists from the Astral Pioneer worked alongside the Defiant's military crew, creating an unusual but effective team. Monitors displayed complex equations and diagrams of Krell technology. Bill, the science officer, looked up from his workstation. We've identified a critical weakness in the Krell shield system. He brought up a holographic display showing energy waves pulsing around a Krell ship model. Their shields use a triple frequency rotation, highly effective against standard weapons, but Bill adjusted the display. If we hit them with precisely calibrated energy pulses that match this pattern but are slightly out of phase, we can create a cascade failure. In simple terms, Tom asked. Mary, the engineer, stepped forward. We can make their shields collapse with much less firepower than normally needed, but we need to modify the Defiant's weapons to generate these specific energy patterns. Tom turned to his weapons officer. Can it be done? Yes, sir. With the science team's help, we can reconfigure the forward beam weapons. It will take about 3 days. Make it 2, Tom ordered. The Krell fleet will reach the outer colony systems in 5 days. In the days that followed, the ship hummed with activity. In the engine room, Mary worked alongside the Defiant's engineers to modify the weapons systems. Her knowledge of energy, patterns combined with their military expertise created something neither could have achieved alone. Hand me that calibrator, Mary said, working deep inside an access panel. Anna, the Defiant's chief engineer, passed her the tool. This modification will reduce our firing rate by 30%. But increase shield penetration by 400%, Mary replied. Worth the trade-off. Anna nodded, a newfound respect in her eyes. For a scientist, you're pretty good at weapons work. Mary smiled without looking up from her work. Energy is energy, whether you're studying it or using it to punch through alien shields. In another section of the ship, Lisa, the medical officer from the research vessel, worked with Dr. Pete analyzing Krell biology from the data they had gathered. Their respiratory system is fascinating, Lisa said, pointing to a scan. Triple-chambered lungs, much more efficient than ours. But more complex, Dr. Pete noted. And potentially vulnerable to certain compounds. If we needed to board a Krell ship, we could develop non-lethal options that would affect them but not us, Lisa finished. Throughout the ship, similar collaborations formed. The scientific mind's creativity paired with military discipline and experience created solutions no one would have thought of alone. In the tactical room, Jack and Tom reviewed the latest intelligence gathered from monitoring Krell communications. They're confident, Jack said. From what we've translated, they expect minimal resistance. They're already discussing how to divide the colony worlds among their commanders. Tom's jaw tightened. They're in for a surprise. There's something else, Jack added. We've been analyzing their weapons targeting patterns. The Krell prioritize infrastructure over population centers. They want to capture our colonies intact. They need resources, Tom realized. This isn't just about territory. They're planning a much larger campaign, which means stopping this first wave is even more important, Jack said. The ship's alert system suddenly blared. Captain to the bridge, came John's voice over the intercom. Krell patrol detected, changing course toward our position. Tom and Jack raced to the bridge where the tactical display showed a small Krell vessel breaking away from the main fleet and turning in their direction. Have they detected us? Tom demanded. Emma shook her head. I don't think so. They appear to be conducting a standard patrol sweep, but their current course will bring them within sensor range in 20 minutes. Options? Tom asked. We could retreat, John suggested, but we'd lose track of the main fleet. Or we could hold position and hope our stealth systems are good enough, Emma said. Tom considered both options, then said, neither. There's a nebula in Sector 4. Dense gas, clouds, magnetic interference. Perfect for hiding, Jack agreed. But we'd need to move now to reach it in time. Set course for the nebula, maximum stealth speed, Tom ordered. And power down all non-essential systems. Let's make ourselves as invisible as possible. The Defiant changed course, slipping toward the distant cloud of colorful gas. Behind them, the Krell patrol continued its sweep, unaware of the human ship moving silently away. For 3 days, the Defiant waited in the nebula, systems powered to minimum levels. The Krell patrol passed by, its sensors confused by the natural interference of the gas cloud. When it finally rejoined the main fleet, Tom ordered the ship to emerge from hiding. We've lost valuable time, he said as they resumed shadowing the Krell fleet. Are the weapons modifications complete? Final calibrations are being done now, John reported. Should be ready for testing in 6 hours. Good. Once testing is complete, set course to intercept the Krell at this position. Tom marked a point on the star map. It's a key supply line they'll need to support their invasion. If we can disrupt it, we could buy Earth the time it needs, Jack finished. As the crew returned to their stations, Tom remained on the bridge, watching the enemy fleet on the long-range scanners. The Defiant was just one ship against 40, but it had something the Krell didn't expect. Humans who refused to accept defeat, who turned scientific curiosity into weapons, and who had been underestimated for the last time. In the quiet darkness of space, the Defiant prepared for war, not with the overwhelming force the Krell commanded, but with intelligence, adaptability, and the quiet determination that had defined humanity throughout its history. The Defiant drifted in the shadow of a small moon, engines powered down to minimum levels. From this position, the ship had a perfect view of the Krell supply route, a narrow corridor between 2 star systems, where the enemy fleet would need to pass. On the bridge, Captain Tom Reynolds stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the tactical display. The crew worked in focused silence, each person knowing what was at stake. Final status report, Tom ordered. Modified weapons are fully operational and charged, reported Emma from Tactical. Shield harmonics set to counter Krell attack patterns. Engineering. Reports all systems green, First Officer John added. Stealth systems at maximum efficiency. Tom nodded, then turned to Jack, who had become an unofficial advisor during their mission. Your science team? Ready, Jack replied. Bill is monitoring. Krell Communications. Mary is standing by in engineering to make any last-minute adjustments to the weapons. Tom checked the time. According to their intelligence, the Krell supply ships would arrive in less than 30 minutes, escorted by 3 warships. It wasn't the main fleet. That was still days away from the colonies, but striking here would disrupt their invasion timeline. All hands to battle stations, Tom ordered. Prepare for combat operations. Throughout the ship, crew members moved to their positions. In engineering, Mary worked alongside Anna, both women checking the modifications they had spent days perfecting. Will it work? Anna asked quietly. Mary gave a small smile. In theory, yes. In practice, we're about to find out. On the bridge, the atmosphere was tense but controlled. These weren't just military personnel anymore. They were a unique combination of scientists and soldiers, each bringing different strengths to the coming battle. Krell ships detected, announced Emma. 3 warships escorting 2 large transport vessels, entering the corridor now. Tom leaned forward. Distance? 800,000 kilometers and closing. They'll pass within 50,000 kilometers of our position in approximately 12 minutes. Hold position until they're past us, Tom ordered. Then we'll hit them from behind. They won't expect an attack from a direction they've already cleared. The minutes ticked by slowly as the Krell ships moved through space, unaware of the human vessel waiting in the darkness. On the main screen, the alien ships grew larger, sleek, predatory designs with forward-swept wings and glowing energy ports. They're passing our position now, Emma reported. No indication they've detected us. Tom waited until the enemy ships had completely passed their hiding spot. Bring engines to full power. Target the rearmost warship with the modified weapons. Fire when ready. The Defiant surged forward from its hiding place, weapons charging as it closed rapidly on the unsuspecting Krell vessels. Firing, Emma announced. Beams of energy, modified to the exact specifications the science team had calculated, lanced out from the Defiant. They struck the Krell warship's shields, but instead of being absorbed or deflected, they passed through at specific points, creating a cascading failure throughout the shield system. Direct hit, Emma called out, surprise evident in her voice. Krell vessel's shields are down. Fire conventional weapons, Tom ordered. The Defiant's standard weapons struck the now unprotected Krell ship, tearing through its hull. The vessel shuddered, then exploded in a brilliant flash of light. Alarms blared as the remaining Krell ships registered the attack and began to turn. They're coming about, John warned. Weapons charging. Evasive maneuvers, Tom commanded. Target the second warship with the modified weapons. The Defiant rolled sharply, avoiding the first volley of Krell energy fire. The human ship was smaller and more agile than the Krell vessels, a fact they used to their advantage as they circled around for another attack run. Krell Communications are going crazy, Bill reported from his station. They can't understand how we penetrated their shields. They're actually panicking. The Defiant fired again, the modified beams striking the second Krell warship. Once more the enemy shields failed, and conventional weapons finished the job, leaving the vessel dead in space. The third Krell warship, now facing the Defiant alone, moved to protect the transport vessels. Its weapons fired continuously, forcing the human ship into a series of tight evasive maneuvers. They're adapting, Emma warned. Changing their shield frequencies. Mary's voice came over the comm from engineering. Captain, they can't adapt completely. The pattern is hardwired into their shield generators. Adjust targeting to these new coordinates. Tom nodded to Emma, who quickly input the new targeting data. Fire. This time the Krell ship was ready, attempting to maneuver away, but the modified beams caught the edge of its shields, creating a partial collapse. The Defiant's follow-up attack struck the vessel's engines, leaving it spinning helplessly. Target the transport ships, Tom ordered. Sir, John interjected. If we disable rather than destroy them, we could gather valuable intelligence. Tom considered this for a moment, then nodded. Target their propulsion systems only. With precision strikes, the Defiant disabled the two transport ships, leaving them adrift in space. The entire engagement had lasted less than 15 minutes. Begin data transmission to Earth Command, Tom ordered. Send everything, tactical data, weapons modifications, shield frequencies. They need to prepare the fleet. As the transmission began, Jack approached Tom. You know what this means, don't you? Tom nodded. The Krell will have to completely rethink their invasion timeline, and they now know their technology isn't as superior as they thought. More than that, Jack said. They left us to die because they thought humans were weak. Not worth a clean kill. Now they've lost 5 ships to a single human vessel. A small smile touched Tom's lips. A valuable lesson. The most important one, Jack agreed. Never underestimate humans. On the view screen, the disabled Krell ships drifted silently, their crews surely struggling to understand how this had happened. The arrogance that had led them to leave humans to die in space had become their greatest weakness. The Defiant moved away under stealth once more, disappearing into the darkness before Krell reinforcements could arrive. They had struck the first blow, small in the grand scheme of the coming conflict, but significant in ways the Krell couldn't yet understand. Back on Earth, military commanders would be reviewing the data, preparing defenses, and mobilizing the fleet. The Krell had planned for an easy conquest against a species they considered inferior. Instead, they had awakened something far more dangerous. Humanity united against a common threat. The war was just beginning, but thanks to the Defiant and its unique crew of scientists and soldiers, it would not be the one-sided affair the Krell had expected. In the quiet depths of space, the balance had already shifted. The morning started like any other on Proxima b. The twin suns rose over the eastern ridge, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The human colony, built into the side of a mountain range, came to life as workers headed to the farms and factories. John Wilson, the colony's governor, stood on the balcony of the main building. He watched his people with pride. Nearly 5,000 humans lived here now, 30 light years from Earth. When they first landed 28 years ago, no one thought they would survive. The air was thin, the soil poor, and the weather harsh. But humans were good at one thing, not giving up. "Good morning, Governor," said Emma Roberts as she joined him on the balcony. As the colony's head scientist, she rarely had time for small talk. "The new water recyclers are working at 98%. That's 8% better than the old ones." Wilson nodded. "Good. Any word from Earth about those new seed types we asked for? The message only left 3 months ago. We won't hear back for at least 3 more. That was life on the edge of human space. Everything took time. Help was always months or years away. Sir." Jack Stone, the head of security, burst onto the balcony. His face was pale. "We're picking up something strange on our long-range scanners," Wilson frowned. "Asteroids?" "No, sir. Ships. Big ones. And they're not human." For 5 minutes, no one spoke. In 30 years of space exploration beyond the solar system, humans had never found intelligent alien life. There were bacteria on Europa, simple plants on Gliese 667 cc, and something like fish on Kepler 62f, but nothing that built ships. "How many?" Wilson finally asked. 14, moving fast. They'll reach us in about 3 hours. Emma gripped the railing. "We should send a message to Earth." Wilson nodded. "Do it, but remember, even if they get it, they can't help us." Emma finished his thought. "Not for years. They tried to prepare as best they could. Stone put all 50 security officers on alert, though their weapons were meant for keeping order, not fighting a war. The colony had a few defensive systems: lasers to destroy incoming asteroids, shields to protect against solar flares. Not much against a fleet of alien ships. "Should we evacuate to the bunkers?" asked Mark Taylor, who ran the farm sectors. "Not yet," Wilson decided. "Let's see what they want first. They might be peaceful, They weren't peaceful. The first ship appeared in the sky at noon. It was huge, at least a mile long, shaped like a giant crystal with sharp edges. It glowed with a blue-green light that hurt the eyes. 11 more ships followed, surrounding the colony in a perfect circle. Emma studied them through the observatory telescope. Amazing design. They don't look like they were built. They look grown. Before anyone could respond, a beam of light shot from the largest ship. It hit the colony's main communication tower, turning it to dust in seconds. "Get everyone to the bunkers," Wilson shouted as more beams struck around the colony. The defense shield generators exploded. The spaceport melted. The backup communication array vanished. People ran screaming through the streets as the attack continued. Parents carried children. Workers abandoned their posts. Security officers tried to direct the crowd, but panic spread faster than orders. In 30 minutes. It was over. The aliens stopped firing, but their ships remained in the sky, a constant threat. Deep underground in Bunker 1, Wilson gathered with the other leaders. The bunkers were built for emergencies: solar storms, atmospheric leaks, asteroid strikes. They had food, water, and air for a month, maybe 2 if they were careful. "What do they want?" asked Lisa Chen, the medical chief. Her small office was now the command center for the colony's leadership. "No idea," Stone said, checking his tablet. "They haven't tried to communicate, they just disabled us." Emma pointed to a map on the wall screen. "Look at the pattern of destruction. They took out communications first, then defenses, then our ships. They didn't target housing areas or farms." "They're isolating us," Wilson realized, "cutting us off." "But why?" Mark asked. "If they wanted to kill us, they could have. Those weapons, I've never seen anything like them." Emma nodded. "They're using some kind of energy beam that breaks molecular bonds. Our shields might as well have been paper." Stone's face darkened. "Did our distress call get out before they hit the comm tower?" The room fell silent. That was the question everyone was afraid to ask. "Yes," said Tom Reed, the communications officer. He looked exhausted, with a cut on his forehead and dirt covering his uniform. "The automatic system sent the burst transmission as soon as we detected the ships. Whether Earth receives it," he shrugged. "Even if they do, it would take them months to reach us." Chen said what everyone was thinking. Wilson took a deep breath. "So we're on our own. Our first priority is survival. Let's do a complete inventory of supplies. Tom, see if you can rig up a way to monitor what's happening outside. Jack, I want security patrols in all bunkers. People are scared. We need to keep order." As the others left to carry out their tasks, Emma stayed behind. "I want to study them," she said. "If we can understand what they are, maybe we can figure out what they want." "Is that safe?" "I don't need to go outside. We have sensors all over the colony. If any are still working, I can collect data from here." Wilson nodded. "Do it, but be careful." For 3 days, the aliens did nothing. They hung in the sky, their crystal ships gleaming in the sunlight. No one dared leave the bunkers. Emma worked day and night, studying every bit of information she could gather. "I'm calling them the Vex," she told Wilson on the 4th day. "Their ships are like nothing we've ever seen. They seem to be made of living crystal that grows and changes." "Have they tried to land? To come after us?" "No. But they're doing something. There's an energy buildup in the main ship. They're preparing for something." On the 5th day, Stone reported bad news. "The food won't last as long as we hoped. Too many systems were damaged in the attack. We can stretch it to 3 weeks, maybe 4, with severe rationing." Wilson called a meeting of all bunker leaders. People needed to know the truth. "We have 3 to 4 weeks of supplies," he told them bluntly. "After that, we either find a way to reach the surface safely or—" He didn't need to finish. "What about Earth?" someone asked. "Will they send help?" Wilson hesitated. The message would have reached them by now, but the nearest military fleet is months away. "So we're dead," a voice said from the back. "No," Wilson said firmly. "We're survivors. That's why we came to this rock in the first place." Because we don't give up. But later, alone with Emma, he admitted his fears. What if they're right? What if no one is coming? Emma looked at the sensor readings on her screen. The alien ships hadn't moved. Then we find a way to fight back ourselves. With what? You said it yourself. Their technology is far beyond ours. Maybe, but they don't know humans very well. We're pretty good at surviving impossible situations. As night fell on the 7th day, the colonists tried to sleep, crowded together in the bunkers. Children cried. Adults whispered. Everyone wondered the same thing. Would help ever come? Above them, the crystal ships of the Vex glowed in the darkness. Waiting, preparing. And far away, beyond the reach of any human sensor, something impossible happened. A small tear opened in the fabric of space itself. A ship like no other emerged, its hull black as night, its shape defying standard physics. On its side, barely visible in the starlight, was a name. Thunderchild. Help was coming. But not the kind anyone expected. Admiral James Taylor stood at the window of his office on Earth's orbital command station. From here, he could see the blue curve of Earth below and the busy traffic of ships coming and going. His gray hair and lined face showed his 40 years of service in Earth's Defense Force. Sir, his assistant called from the doorway. There's an emergency message from Deep Space Monitoring Station 6. Taylor turned. What is it? They've picked up a distress signal from Proxima B colony. It's bad, sir. 5 minutes later, Taylor was rushing through the corridors of the command center. Officers jumped out of his way as he entered the main control room. Show me, he ordered. The large screen lit up with a message. Emergency. Proxima B colony under attack. Unknown alien vessels. Request immediate military support. This is not a drill. The room was silent. Everyone stared at the screen, trying to understand what they were seeing. When did this come in? Taylor asked. 20 minutes ago, sir, answered Officer Miller, who ran the communications section. It's authentic. We checked 3 times. Taylor's mind raced. Aliens. Real aliens with ships and weapons. After all these years of searching the stars, they had finally found intelligent life, and its first act was to attack a human colony. How long would it take our nearest ships to reach Proxima B? He asked. Miller looked down at his screen. The Jupiter Defense Fleet could get there in 8 months at maximum speed. 8 months, Taylor repeated. 5,000 colonists wouldn't last 8 months, sir, said a quiet voice from the back of the room. Taylor turned to see Dr. Ben Howard, the head scientist for Earth Defense. There might be another option. Taylor waved him forward. What? Is it? The Thunderchild, Howard said. Several officers gasped. Taylor's face hardened. The Thunderchild was shut down. By your recommendation, if I remember right. Howard nodded. Yes, sir. Because it was too dangerous. But it's the only ship we have that could reach Proxima B in time. Taylor remembered the Thunderchild well. It wasn't like other ships. It was built using technology that scientists barely understood, with systems that bent the rules of physics. It was humanity's attempt to create something that could match the unknown threats they might find in deep space. Where is it now? Taylor asked. Orbit around Neptune. Minimal crew, systems on standby. We never actually dismantled it. Taylor walked to the large window. And the Alcubierre Martinez drive, does it still work? In theory, yes. It could get to Proxima B in days, not months. In theory, Taylor repeated. The last time we tested it, it nearly tore the ship apart. Howard approached the admiral. Sir, I know the risks. I helped design that ship. But right now, 5,000 colonists are facing something we've never encountered before. The Thunderchild is the only chance they have. Taylor thought for a long moment. Then he turned to the room. Get me the Defense Council, now. 2 hours later, Taylor faced the 12 members of Earth's Defense Council. They met in a secure room deep inside the orbital command station. The situation is clear, Taylor said. Proxima B is under attack. Our only option for immediate response is the Thunderchild. Counselor Rodriguez shook her head. That ship was deemed too dangerous for regular service. Its AI system alone violated 3 safety protocols. I'm aware of the risks, Taylor replied, but we're talking about 5,000 lives. And who would even pilot such a ship? Asked Counselor Wu. The neural interface requires special training. Taylor took a deep breath. There's only one person qualified, Commander Alex Ryan. The room erupted in arguments. Everyone knew about Commander Ryan, the best pilot Earth had ever produced, also the most reckless. Ryan was suspended from active duty, Rodriguez pointed out, after the incident with the Mars orbital station. Yes, Taylor agreed, but no one knows the Thunderchild better. Ryan was the test pilot during its development. The head of the council, Director Banks, raised her hand for silence. Let's be clear about what we're discussing. We're talking about sending an experimental ship with unstable systems piloted by a suspended officer to face an unknown alien threat. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am, Taylor said. And if we don't, 5,000 colonists will likely die. Yes, ma'am. Banks looked around the table. We need to vote. 10 minutes later, Taylor had his answer. The mission was approved. Commander Alex Ryan stood in the rain outside a small house near the ocean. 3 years ago, Ryan had been at the top of the world, the lead test pilot for Earth's most advanced spaceship. Then came the accident at Mars Station. No one died, but it was close. Too close. Ryan was grounded, told to stay away from spaceships and spend time thinking about the rules that had been broken. A car pulled up, splashing water onto Ryan's boots. Admiral Taylor stepped out. Commander? He said with a nod. Not a commander anymore, Ryan replied. Just a civilian now. That's not why I'm here, Taylor said. We need you back. Ryan laughed. You're joking. I've never been more serious. We've received a distress call from Proxima B. The colony is under attack by an alien force. Ryan's smile disappeared. Aliens? Real aliens? Very real, and very hostile. We're reactivating the Thunderchild. You're the only one who can fly it. Ryan stared at the Admiral. The Thunderchild. Just hearing the name brought back memories. The feel of the neural interface connecting to Ryan's mind. The power of the ship responding to thoughts faster than to any physical control. Why would you trust me with that ship again? After what happened? Taylor stepped closer. Because, right. Now 5,000 people need someone who can do the impossible. That's always been you, Ryan, even when it got you in trouble. Ryan looked out at the ocean thinking. How long do they have? Ryan finally asked. Not long. The colony's defenses are already down. They're in emergency bunkers. And the Thunderchild? Is it ready? It will be by the time you reach Neptune Station. Dr. Howard is there now, bringing systems online. Ryan nodded slowly. The neural interface? Waiting for you. For 3 years, Ryan had dreamed of flying again. Not just any ship, the Thunderchild. Now the chance was here, but at what cost? If things went wrong, it wouldn't just be Ryan's career on the line this time. It would be the lives of 5,000 colonists. When do we leave? Ryan asked. Now, Taylor said. The shuttle is waiting. 3 days later, Ryan floated through the quiet corridors of Neptune Station. The station orbited the blue planet, far from Earth. Few people came out this far. It was the perfect place to hide a ship that no one was supposed to talk about. And there it was. Through the viewing window, Ryan could see the Thunderchild. It didn't look like other ships. Where most human ships were white or gray with smooth surfaces, the Thunderchild was black with sharp angles and strange patterns across its hull. It wasn't built for beauty. It was built for war. It's been waiting for you, said a voice behind Ryan. Dr. Howard floated up next to the commander. His beard had more gray than Ryan remembered. How much have you told it? Ryan asked. Howard knew what Ryan was asking about. The ship's AI, ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm. Unlike normal ship computers, ARIA could think, learn, and make decisions. Some said it was almost human. That was what made it so effective, and so dangerous. Nothing yet, Howard said. I thought you should be the one to wake her up. Ryan nodded. The neural interface? Is it ready? Yes. But I should warn you, it's been upgraded since you last used it. The connection will be deeper. Ryan remembered the feeling from before, the strange sensation of becoming one with the ship, feeling its systems as if they were parts of Ryan's own body. It was addictive. Pilots who used neural interfaces too long sometimes forgot how to live without them. The mission parameters? Ryan asked. Get to Proxima B as fast as possible. Assess the situation. Rescue the colonists if you can. And the aliens? Howard hesitated. The Council's orders are to avoid conflict if possible. The Thunderchild is powerful, but we have no idea what we're facing. Ryan looked back at the ship. How many crew? 15. The minimum needed to operate critical systems. The rest will be handled by Area and you. When do we leave? As soon as you're ready. Ryan took a deep breath. Then let's go say hello to an old friend. As Ryan floated toward the airlock leading to the Thunderchild, one thought kept repeating. This time would be different. This time, there would be no mistakes. 5,000 lives depended on it. Inside the ship, everything was quiet dark. As Ryan pushed through the doorway to the bridge, light slowly came on. The neural interface chair sat in the center, waiting. Hello, Area, Ryan said to the empty room. It's been a while. The lights changed from white to a soft blue. A gentle, female voice filled the room. Hello, Commander Ryan, I've been waiting for you. Commander Ryan sat in the neural interface chair on the bridge of the Thunderchild. It wasn't like normal ship controls. There were no buttons or screens to touch. The chair connected directly to Ryan's brain. Neural interface activation in 3, 2, 1. Dr. Howard counted down from his position at the medical station. Ryan gasped as the connection formed. It felt like ice water flowing into his mind, then warming until it became part of him. Suddenly, Ryan could feel the ship, its engines, weapons, even the small maintenance robots crawling through the ducts. Status? Howard asked, watching Ryan's vital signs on his screen. The connection is stronger than before, Ryan said. I can feel everything. That's the upgrade I mentioned. You're more deeply linked to Area now. Ryan turned his attention to the ship's AI. Area, run a full systems check. The soft blue lights pulsed around the bridge. All primary systems operational, the AI's calm voice reported. Secondary systems at 94% efficiency. Weapons systems in standby mode. The Alcubierre Martinez drive? Ryan asked. Operational but untested since refit. Caution is advised. Ryan nodded. The AM drive was the most experimental system on the ship. Normal ships used fusion engines that could push them to about 10% of light speed. The AM drive was different. It didn't move the ship through space, it moved space around the ship, compressing it in front and expanding it behind. In theory, it could get them to Proxima B in just a few days. In practice, no. One was sure if the ship would hold together. Prepare for departure, Ryan ordered. Lieutenant Davis, coordinate with Neptune Station for undocking. Kim Davis, the navigation officer, nodded from her station. At 28, she was the youngest officer on the skeleton crew, but one of the best. All crew secure for departure, Ryan announced over the ship-wide system. This isn't going to be a normal flight. As Neptune Station fell away behind them, Ryan felt the power of the Thunderchild's regular engines through the neural link. Even without the AM drive, this was the fastest ship humans had ever built. Area, plot a course to Proxima B. Ryan ordered, course plotted. Estimated travel time at maximum conventional speed, 7.4 months. Too slow, Ryan said. Prepare the Alcubierre Martinez drive. The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Everyone knew the stories about the AM drive. Commander, said Tom Miller, the chief engineer, the drive hasn't been tested at full power since the incident. Ryan knew what he meant. The last time they tried to use the AM drive at full power, it created a field that nearly tore the ship apart. That was 3 years ago, Before Ryan's suspension. "We don't have a choice," Ryan said. "Those colonists have days, maybe weeks, not months." Dr. Howard approached Ryan's chair. "At least let me run some simulations first." "There's no time," Ryan insisted. "But we'll start at 30% power. Area, begin drive warm-up sequence." Acknowledged. Alcubierre Martinez drive warming up. All crew should prepare for spatial distortion effects. Miller shook his head. "I'm not sure this is a good idea." "Note your objection in the log," Ryan said. "But we're doing this." As the AM drive powered up, Ryan could feel the energy building through the neural link. It was like standing next to a waterfall, massive power barely contained. "Drive at 25% and rising," Area reported. "Field forming." Around the ship, space itself began to change. The stars ahead seemed to squeeze together while those behind stretched apart. "All readings in the green," Miller reported, surprised. "The new containment system is holding. 30% power," Area announced. Ryan felt the ship shudder. Through the neural link he could sense the strain on the hull. Some minor stress fractures forming in sections 12 through 15, Area reported, within acceptable parameters. "This is where we had problems before," Howard reminded everyone. "We never got past 35%. Ryan made a decision. "We need more speed." "Area, increase to 50%. "Commander," Miller protested. "The simulations never went that high." "Increasing to 50%, Area confirmed, ignoring Miller. The ship groaned. On the hull, small cracks appeared and sealed themselves as the self-repairing systems worked. "Hull stress increasing," Area reported, compensating. Through the neural link, Ryan could feel the ship's pain. If an AI in a vessel made of metal could feel pain. But Ryan could also feel something else. Area was learning, adjusting, strengthening the weak points. "It's working," Ryan said. Area increased to 70%. The view through the forward window was unlike anything human eyes had seen before. Space itself folded and warped. Stars smeared into lines, then into a tunnel of light. 75% power, Area announced. New estimated arrival time, at Proxima B 4.3 days. 4 days, Howard breathed, instead of 8 months. But Ryan wasn't satisfied. "We need to get there faster. Area, how high can we push it?" "Unknown. No simulation data exists beyond 80% power. Then we'll make new data, increase to 85%. The ship shuddered violently. Warning lights flashed across all stations. "Hull breach in Section 22, Miller shouted. "Emergency seals engaged." "Structural integrity failing in the engine section," Davis reported. Ryan closed his eyes, focusing on the neural link. Through it, he could feel every part of the ship, every stress point, every system struggling to cope with the impossible forces. "Area," Ryan said quietly. "Let me handle the field adjustments." "That is not recommended," the AI replied. "Human neural processing is too slow for real time." "Let me try," Ryan insisted. There was a pause. Then, "Neural control of field adjustments," transferred to Commander Ryan. Immediately, Ryan was flooded with data. Complex equations, field measurements, structural analysis. It was too much for a human brain to process consciously. But Ryan didn't try to understand it all. Instead, Ryan felt the ship, like an extension of his own body, instinctively knowing where it hurt, where it needed support. "Redistributing field strength," Ryan announced, though he wasn't consciously doing the calculations. It was more like dancing, feeling the rhythm and responding. "Hull stress decreasing," Area reported, sounding almost surprised. "Field stability improving. Increase to 90%, Ryan ordered. "Commander, I must advise against." "Do it." The ship lurched, then smoothed out as Ryan adjusted the field through the neural link. Space outside was now a complete tunnel of light. Reality itself bent around the Thunderchild. New estimated arrival time. 2.7 days, Area announced. Ryan smiled. "That's more like it." For the next hour, Ryan and Area worked together, adjusting the field, maintaining the impossible speed. The rest of the crew watched in amazement as human and AI merged into something new, something that could do what neither could do alone. Finally, Ryan spoke. Aria, you have control. Maintain current field configuration. Acknowledged. Neural interface disengaging. As the connection eased, Ryan slumped in the chair, exhausted. Dr. Howard was immediately at his side, medical scanner in hand. Your brain. Activity was off the charts, Howard said. I've never seen anything like it. Is the commander okay? Davis asked from her station. Howard nodded slowly. Physically, yes, but the neural load was extreme. Ryan stood up shakily. I'm fine. And we're now on course to reach Proxima B in less than 3 days. Miller looked up from his console. The drive is stable, I don't know how, but it's working. Better than our simulations ever predicted. It's working because the ship knows what we're trying to do, Ryan said. Aria understands the mission. Aria is just an AI, Miller argued. It doesn't understand anything. Ryan wasn't so sure. Through the neural link, he had felt something in Aria. Not emotion exactly, but something like purpose. The AI wanted to succeed as much as they did. Get some rest, Howard told Ryan. You'll need to connect again when we arrive at Proxima B. Ryan nodded and headed for his quarters. As the door closed behind him, he heard Aria's voice, speaking privately. Commander, may I ask a question? Go ahead. When we merged through the neural link, what did you experience? Ryan considered the question. I felt the ship as if it were part of me, and I felt you, guiding me. Interesting. I experienced something similar. Your human intuition enhanced my processing in unexpected ways. Are you saying we make a good team, Aria? I am saying that together we might be capable of things neither of us could do alone. Ryan smiled. Let's hope so. When we reach Proxima B, we're going to need every advantage. As Ryan drifted off to sleep, the Thunderchild continued its impossible journey, tearing through the fabric of space toward a distant colony and an unknown enemy. And inside the ship's systems, Aria watched over everything, learning, planning, preparing for what was to come. Exiting AM drive in 3, 2, 1. Aria's calm voice counted down as the Thunderchild prepared to return to normal space. Commander Ryan sat in the neural interface chair, fully connected to the ship. The journey had taken exactly 67 hours, less than 3 days to cross 30 light-years. It was a miracle of science, but Ryan had no time to celebrate. The tunnel of warped space collapsed around them. Stars reappeared as points of light rather than streaks. Ahead, the Proxima system came into view. Twin red suns and a handful of planets, including Proxima B, where the human colony waited. Status report, Ryan ordered. Lieutenant Davis spoke first. Position confirmed. We're at the edge of the Proxima system, about 4 light minutes from Proxima B. All systems operational, Miller added from engineering. Hull integrity at 92%. The AM drive needs time to cool down before we can use it again. Ryan nodded. Area, passive scan of the system. Let's see what we're dealing with before we announce ourselves. Through the neural link, Ryan felt the ship's sensors extending outward, gathering data without emitting signals that might give away their position. Scan complete, Area announced after a minute. I am detecting 14 unknown vessels in orbit, around Proxima B. Their design matches no known configuration in my database. Show me, Ryan ordered. A holographic display appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed Proxima B, a blue-green planet with white clouds, similar to Earth but smaller. Around it, 14 crystal-like ships hung in orbit, arranged in a precise pattern. Magnify one of the ships, Ryan said. The hologram zoomed in on one of the alien vessels. It was beautiful in a strange way, like a giant crystal with multiple facets, glowing with internal blue-green light. No obvious engines or weapons were visible, yet it moved with purpose. Life signs, Dr. Howard asked, staring at the display. Inconclusive, Area replied. I detect energy patterns that could indicate life, but they are unlike any biological signatures in my database. Ryan studied the pattern of ships. They're not random. They've positioned themselves in a precise formation above the colony. Davis leaned closer to the display. It looks like they're creating some kind of Network? Area. Can you detect the colony? Ryan asked. Yes. I am reading approximately 4,800 human life signs, most concentrated in underground structures, likely emergency bunkers. Surface structures show significant damage consistent with weapons fire. Ryan felt a wave of relief. Most of the colonists were still alive. What about communications? Can we contact them? Negative, Area replied. The aliens have destroyed all communication systems on the surface. The colonists are effectively cut off. So they can't see us coming, Miller observed. Neither can the aliens if we're careful. Ryan considered their options. The Thunderchild was powerful, but facing 14 alien ships was suicide, even with the advanced weapon systems. We need more information, Ryan decided. Aria, engage stealth systems. We're going to move closer. The Thunderchild's hull changed as the stealth system activated. Special materials absorbed light and other radiation, making the ship nearly invisible to most sensors. Stealth systems engaged, Aria confirmed. Recommended approach vector calculated. Take us in, slow and quiet, Ryan ordered. The Thunderchild moved silently toward Proxima B, using minimal power to avoid detection. Through the neural link, Ryan could feel the ship's excitement, or was it Aria's? Sometimes it was hard to tell the difference when connected this deeply. As they drew closer to the planet, Aria suddenly spoke. Commander, I am detecting an unusual energy buildup in the center of the alien formation. What kind of energy? Unknown. It does not match any known energy pattern in my database. However, the mathematical structure suggests some form of spatial manipulation. Davis looked up from her console. Like our AM drive? Similar principles, but far more advanced, Area replied, and on a much larger scale. Ryan focused on the holographic display. In the center of the alien formation, a faint glow was beginning to form between the ships. They're creating something, Howard said. Some kind of field or portal. Area, analyze and give me your best guess, Ryan ordered. There was a pause as the AI processed the data. Based on the energy patterns and spatial distortions, I believe the aliens are attempting to create a stable wormhole. The bridge fell silent. A wormhole, a tunnel through space-time that could connect distant points in the universe. A wormhole to where? Ryan finally asked. Unknown. But the energy requirements for such a creation are enormous. They appear to be drawing power from all 14 ships to maintain the field. Ryan understood now. That's why they attacked the colony but didn't destroy it completely. They needed this location for something bigger. A beachhead, Miller suggested. They're creating a gateway for... What? An invasion? We can't let that happen, Ryan decided. If they establish a stable wormhole here, Earth could be their next target. Howard looked concerned. What can we do? Even with our weapons, we're outnumbered. Ryan smiled grimly. We have a few tricks they don't know about. He turned to Miller. Chief, status of our special weapon systems? The quantum disruptor is at full charge. Gravity pulse generators are operational. The phase cannon needs another hour to reach full power. We won't have an hour, Ryan said. Area, analyze the alien formation. Find their weakest point. As Area worked, Davis suddenly called out, Commander, energy spike from the alien fleet. They've detected us. Ryan felt it through. The neural link, the sudden shift in the alien ships as they became aware of the Thunderchild's presence. 3 of the smaller crystal ships broke from the formation and moved toward them. So much for stealth, Ryan muttered. Battle stations, all hands prepare for combat. The bridge light shifted to red as the ship's systems reconfigured for battle. Hidden weapons ports opened along the Thunderchild's hull. Targeting systems online, Aria reported. Defensive shields at maximum. Ryan took a deep breath, feeling the ship come alive around him. Let's introduce ourselves. Open a channel on all frequencies. Channel open, Area confirmed. Attention alien vessels, Ryan announced. This is Commander Alex Ryan of the Earth defense ship Thunderchild. You have attacked a human colony without provocation. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. There was no response, just continued movement as the three alien ships approached. They're charging weapons, Davis warned. Area, evasive pattern Delta, Ryan ordered. Prepare to return fire. The Thunderchild moved with impossible speed and grace, dodging the first energy blasts from the alien ships. Through the neural link, Ryan guided the ship with thoughts faster than any manual control could allow. Target the lead vessel, Ryan commanded. Standard kinetic rounds first. Let's see how they react. The Thunderchild's main guns fired, advanced railguns that launched metal projectiles at a significant fraction of light speed. The rounds streaked toward the lead alien ship. At the last second, a shimmering field appeared around the crystal vessel. The kinetic rounds slowed dramatically but still hit with enough force to crack one of the crystal facets. They have some kind of gravity-based defensive shield, Miller observed, but it's not perfect. The alien ships fired again, beams of blue-green energy that curved through space toward the Thunderchild. One beam grazed the ship's port side, instantly melting a section of the hull before the self-repair systems activated. Hull breach in Section 19, Area reported. Sealing now. Their weapons are capable of disrupting molecular bonds. Ryan grimaced as he felt the ship's pain through the neural link. Time to stop holding back. Area. Target all three ships with WEM. The gravity pulse generators. Targeting. Gravity pulse generators charged. Fire. The Thunderchild released 3 spheres of distorted space that moved slowly toward the alien ships. When they reached their targets, space itself twisted violently. 2 of the smaller alien ships were caught in the distortion, their crystalline structures cracking as gravity pulled them in multiple directions at once. The third ship, however, adjusted quickly. It fired directly at one of the gravity pulses, dissipating it before it could reach the ship. They learn fast, Howard noted. On the main viewer, the rest of the alien fleet was reacting now. The wormhole creation paused as several more ships broke formation and moved toward the Thunderchild. Commander, Area said, I have completed my analysis of their formation. There is a vulnerability. The central ship appears to be coordinating the wormhole creation. If we can disrupt it, the entire process will collapse. Ryan nodded. That's our target then. We need to get past these escorts and hit the main ship. 7 alien vessels now on intercept course, Davis warned. We're outnumbered. Ryan smiled, but not outgunned. Area, prepare the quantum disruptor. Let's show them what Earth's most dangerous ship can really do. As the alien fleet approached, the Thunderchild's most secret weapon began to charge, building power for a strike that would either save the colony or doom the ship and its crew. Deep in Bunker 1 on Proxima B, Emma Roberts stared at the small sensor screen in disbelief. Governor Wilson, she called out. You need to see this. Wilson hurried over, followed by Jack Stone. For a week, they had been monitoring the alien ships from their underground shelter. Nothing had changed until now. What is it? Wilson asked. Emma pointed to the screen. Look at the alien formation. Something's disrupting them. The screen showed the crystal ships breaking their perfect pattern. Several were moving away from the colony toward something at the edge of sensor range. There's another ship up there, Stone said, leaning closer. It's not alien. Emma adjusted the sensors, trying to get a better image. It's human. An Earth ship. Wilson shook his head. That's impossible. No Earth ship could have reached us this quickly. Well, something did, Stone said, and the aliens are attacking it. Around them, other colonists gathered, hope flickering in their eyes for the first time in days. In orbit above the planet, the Thunderchild spun and twisted through space as it evaded alien weapons fire. 7 crystal ships now pursued it, firing those strange energy beams that could melt through the hull. Commander Ryan, linked to the ship through the neural interface, guided it with thoughts faster than human reflexes. Through the connection, he could feel the ship straining, parts of the hull breached, systems damaged. Quantum disruptor at 85% charge, Area reported. We need 30 more seconds to reach full power. We don't have 30 seconds, Ryan replied, as another alien beam grazed the ship. Miller shouted from his station, Hull breach in Section 31. Life support failing in the lower decks. Seal all affected areas, Ryan ordered. Reroute power to shields. Lieutenant Davis clung to her console as the ship shook from another near miss. Commander, we can't take much more of this. Ryan knew she was right. The Thunderchild was the most advanced ship humans had ever built, but it was still one ship against 7 aliens with technology beyond human understanding. Then Ryan had an idea. Area, what if we reverse the gravity pulse generators? Create a gravity well in front of us instead of sending pulses outward? There was a brief pause as the AI calculated. Possible. It would pull the alien ships toward us but also draw their fire. Not if we time it right, Ryan said. Prepare the gravity well. Get ready to create it between us and the main alien fleet, right as the quantum disruptor reaches full charge. A shield and a weapon, Howard realized. Clever. Ryan felt the ship reconfiguring through the neural link. He could also feel Aria's growing concern. Commander, the AI said privately through the neural link, the stress on the ship is reaching critical levels. The quantum disruptor at full power may cause catastrophic damage to our systems. We don't have a choice, Ryan replied silently. If those aliens complete their wormhole, Earth could be next. Understood, Aria acknowledged. It has been an honor serving with you, Commander. Ryan smiled, despite the situation. Let's save the goodbyes for later. We're not done yet. To the bridge crew, Ryan announced. Everyone hold on. This is going to get rough. The Thunderchild banked sharply, turning to face the oncoming alien ships. Through the forward viewport, the crystal vessels looked like angry stars, glowing with internal light as they charged their weapons. Gravity well forming. Now, Aria announced. Space distorted between the Thunderchild and the alien ships. A massive gravitational field appeared, bending light around it like a black hole. 2 of the smaller alien vessels, unable to adjust in time, were caught in the edge of the field. Their crystal structures cracked as the gravity pulled them in different directions. Quantum disruptor at 95%, Aria reported. 5 seconds to full charge. The lead alien ship, larger than the others, seemed to recognize the threat. It fired directly at the gravity well, its energy beam cutting through the distorted space toward the Thunderchild. Brace for impact, Ryan shouted. The beam hit the ship's starboard side, burning through multiple decks. Ryan felt the pain through, the neural interface as if it were his own body being wounded. Hull breach in sections 40 through 47, Aria reported, her voice calm despite the damage. Quantum disruptor now at full charge. Target their central ship, Ryan ordered. The one, controlling the wormhole formation. On the display they could see it, the largest crystal ship at the center of the alien pattern, glowing brighter than the others as it generated the energy for the wormhole. Target locked, Aria confirmed. Ryan took a deep breath. Fire. From the front of the Thunderchild, a beam of utter darkness emerged. Not energy in the conventional sense, but a tear in reality itself. The quantum disruptor didn't fire energy. It fired the absence of physics, a weapon that temporarily canceled the laws of nature. The beam cut through space toward the central alien ship. When it hit, the crystal structure didn't explode or melt. Instead, it simply came apart, its molecular bonds no longer able to hold together in the quantum disruption field. Direct hit, Davis shouted. But something unexpected happened. As the central ship collapsed, the energy it had been gathering had nowhere to go. The half-formed wormhole became unstable, pulsing with wild energy. Aria, what's happening? Ryan demanded. The wormhole is collapsing, the AI replied. But the collapse is creating a gravity shockwave that will hit us in approximately 12 seconds. Can we outrun it? Negative. Our engines are too damaged, Ryan thought quickly. Then we ride it out. Divert all remaining power to structural integrity. The crew braced as the shockwave approached, a wall of distorted space rushing outward from the collapsed wormhole. When it hit, the Thunderchild tumbled like a leaf in a hurricane. Metal screamed as the hull bent in ways it was never designed to withstand. Ryan felt systems failing throughout the ship. Through the neural link, Aria's presence flickered like a dying light. Aria, stay with me, Ryan called out. Multiple system failures, the AI responded, her voice breaking up. Neural interface destabilizing. Ryan fought to maintain the connection, using his own mind to hold the ship together where systems failed. For a brief moment, there was no difference between human, AI, and ship. They were one entity fighting for survival. Then, as suddenly as it began, the shockwave passed. The Thunderchild drifted, half its systems offline, its hull breached in dozens of places. Status report, Ryan gasped as the neural interface partially disconnected. Miller checked his damaged console, main power offline, running on emergency systems, hull integrity at 47%. The alien fleet? Ryan asked. Davis looked up from her station. Most were caught in the shockwave, 3 destroyed outright. The rest are retreating. They're leaving. The system. A cheer went up from the bridge crew. Against impossible odds, they had won. What about the colony? Ryan asked. Can we contact them? Howard worked at his console. Most of our communication systems are damaged, but I might be able to patch something together. A few minutes later, Governor Wilson's face appeared on the cracked main screen. He looked tired but amazed. This is Governor Wilson of Proxima Colony. Are you really from Earth? Ryan nodded. Commander Alex Ryan, Earth Defense Ship. Thunderchild. Sorry about the light show up here. Is everyone okay down there? Wilson smiled for the first time in days. We're alive, thanks to you. But how did you get here so quickly? We only sent the distress call 2 weeks ago. It's a long story, Ryan replied, involving some very experimental technology. The important thing is the alien threat has been neutralized. They're retreating from the system. Can you get us home? Wilson asked, hope clear in his voice. Ryan looked around at the damaged bridge. Our ship is in pretty bad shape. We can't transport everyone, but we can help you rebuild your communication systems and call for a proper rescue fleet. You mean help is really coming? Wilson asked. It's already here, Ryan said with a smile, and more is on the way. 3 days later, Ryan stood on the surface of Proxima B, looking up at the night sky. The Thunderchild was visible as a bright point of light orbiting the planet. Engineers from the colony were helping repair what they could, though the ship would never make the journey back to Earth without major overhauls. Emma Roberts joined him, following his gaze upward. Your ship saved us all, she said. One ship against an entire alien fleet. No one thought help would come, especially not so quickly. Ryan nodded. That's why we built the Thunderchild, for the impossible missions. What happens now? She asked. We've re-established communication with Earth. A proper rescue fleet is already on its way, conventional ships, so it'll take them about 7 months to get here. In the meantime, we'll help rebuild and set up better defenses. Next time, you won't be caught unprepared. You think they'll come back? Emma asked. Ryan looked at the stars. I don't know, but humanity just announced itself to whatever's out there in a pretty dramatic way. We should be ready for what comes next. As night fell on Proxima B, the colonists gathered around bonfires, celebrating their survival. Stories were already spreading about the impossible ship that had arrived when all hope seemed lost, Earth's most dangerous warship, appearing like magic to save them. In orbit above, Arya watched through the Thunderchild's sensors. The AI was learning, evolving beyond her programming as she processed what had happened. Through the neural link, now mostly repaired, she shared her thoughts with Ryan. They're calling you heroes, she observed. Ryan, resting in his quarters, smiled. Us, Arya, they're calling us heroes. I am merely a machine, the AI replied. Are you? Ryan asked. Because what I felt when we were connected, when we faced that shockwave together, that was more than programming. There was a long pause before Arya answered. Perhaps, she finally said, we are both becoming something new. As the stars wheeled overhead, human and AI contemplated the future, and the knowledge that humanity was no longer alone in the universe.